Hey, how are you? Of course it is, and the mics are not working. No, I did turn them up and down.
They're yours.
Oh, you muted it. I was all up under the table. Oh, okay. It didn't work out. Oh, good.
Second year, sleeping clothes. I didn't realize, like, oh, wait, maybe I do this one. Right, they were full holidays. I'm like, oh, no. And then come on. So I'm like, oh, good. Now I don't have
It makes sense to me if it's
Oh, the reason why? I almost was gonna print out that email number on the guy.
So I updated the accounts.
Oh, good, okay. Yeah, it's just an issue, we don't want to last.
Yes.
Perfect, okay. Yeah, no, thank you, I was so excited.
All right, everybody, we are at 7:02, and I would like to call the meeting to order. Secretary Williams, would you mind leading us in the pledge of allegiance? Thank you. Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. Roll call, please.
Trustee Bukowski.
Present.
Trustee Gator.
Present.
Trustee Serlini. Present. Trustee Dyrock.
Present.
Trustee Nassier. Trustee Wall.
Present.
Trustee Williams. Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum to the board and to the community. Trustee Nassier did text me earlier, not too long ago, stating that she would be absent at the meeting and she's not feeling well. At this time, I would respectfully ask that the board and the community, if you will, bow your heads, just to do a moment of silence to anyone in our community who may be in grief or mourning, to our veterans and to our fallen soldiers. Thank you. Thank you all for that. Moving on to adoption of the agenda. At the recommendation of Mr. Kleinhans, I do have at least one thing to bring to the agenda from his recommendations, and then one other thing from Vice President Wall. So at the recommendation of Mark, he is asking that the board consider the recommendation to hire Jason L. Lampkin, and if we could add that as agenda item letter L. And again, that is to, for the board to vote to set the hire of Jason L. Lampkin. So that would read for letter L, be it resolved that the Board of Education appoints Jason L. Lampkin to coach basketball at Annapolis High School. So I'll repeat that again. Before we move to adopt the agenda, at the recommendation of Mark, to add letter L, be it resolved that the Board of Education appoints Jason L. Lampkin to coach basketball at Annapolis High School.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
You're appointing him or hiring him? Is he a current employee that will be appointed,
It's a hire.
or is it a hire?
It's a hire.
Because you're saying appoint, so that's
And
why I'm asking.
that is under Mark's recommendation. I can allow him to. Sorry.
Thank you.
So, actually, this is an EduStaff position, so it's kind of a unique circumstance, so we're just appointing him, so that if we're hiring him to be one on the basketball staff. When usually, like, if you look at the language in here, we appoint positions to folks, so that's why that language is in there.
Thank you, clarification.
Yeah, you're welcome. Also for Vice President Wall, under letter J, board member MASB conference registration, Lansing, Michigan. Mr. Wall had registered for CBA 232, communicating effectively in difficult times. However, at the time that he had planned to register, there weren't any openings. Well, as of today, I have learned that it is. And so Vice President Wall would like to attend that CBA 2. So that CBA CBA is again, CBA 232, Communicating Effectively in Difficult Times. That CBA is at a cost of $99. So that would bring the total cost for the MASB training to $1,023.00. Shall it be approved by the board? Yes, $1,023.00. And that is adding CBA 232, Communicating Effectively in Difficult Times. You're welcome. With that being said, be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the November 1, 2023 agenda as presented. A board member may request an item or items be moved from the consent agenda to superintendent's recommendations. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Bilkowski. Is there support? Or supported by trustee Dyroff. Is there discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Wall.
Yes.
Trustee Williams, yes. Trustee Sterling, yes. Trustee Dyroff.
Yes.
Trustee Bilkowski.
Yes.
Trustee Gator.
Yes, motion carries. On to public comment on agenda items only. Good evening again. We welcome you to our board meeting. Is there any public comment on agenda items only at this time? Any public comment on agenda items only? Last call, any public comment on agenda items only? Hearing and seeing none, thank you. On to superintendent's reports. Introduction, Ms. Aisha Brazil, Wayne County Parent Advisory Committee Representative. I believe the presentation is up on the screen, and then the board has a copy here at the table.
Yeah, so I will do an introduction while Mrs. Bracel is making her way to the podium. I had the pleasure and honor to meet with Mrs. Bracel about a week or so ago. And it was interesting because I know she had an appointment to get to, and I had an appointment to get to, but we went over those appointments because we really had some deep, rich discussion about meeting the needs of all of our students and certainly our special education students. So it was through that discussion, it was a great opportunity to have her come in. She's our PAC rep. You guys approved her for another term. I know it's been, how many terms have you been our PAC rep?
This is my third term.
Third term. So we certainly appreciate it, and I know that the district does. But I'm pleased to announce Mrs. Bracel, and we'll turn the mic over to her. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you for having me. So, leading part of the presentation, I think my computer was acting very crazy in the ninth hour. So, the Wayne County Parent Advisory Committee, the abbreviation is WCPAC, is composed of members who represent each public school district and the public school academies in Wayne County, each intermediate school district, and Michigan is required to appoint a parent advisory committee representative, and it shall consist of parents and students with disabilities, and that is for MARS, which is the Michigan Administrative Rules for Special Education. Wayne County Parent Advisory Committees actively participate in the development of the Wayne County Plan for Delivery of Special Education Programs and Services. By law, the Parent Advisory Committee can also give input to the county on other matters that the committee deems appropriate. In addition, Parent Advisory Committee members serve as an information source to other parents, staff members, and other interested individuals. Some PAC members even serve as special education advocates. To become a representative or a member of the PAC, an individual must be a parent or a surrogate parent representing the special education needs of a student receiving an individual education plan. The parent or surrogate is recommended for appointment to the PAC by the Board of Education or the LEA, local education agency, or local school district. The nomination district can be the operating district of or the resident school district in which the student lives, whether or not the student attends school or receives special education services in his or her resident district. The nomination is placed before the Wayne Reesa Board of Education. They approve the nomination of school districts and appoints a representative who serves a term of 3 school years. The term can be less than 3 years if the member's child is no longer eligible to receive special education services. The member may complete serving the school year. All 33 school districts are mandated by law to have at least one representative on the PAC. The PAC bylaws entitle most of the 33 LEAs, which is local education agencies, to have 2 members. Each member must familiarize themselves with the school district structure and policies, gain and maintain a good working knowledge of special education law, help set priorities for improving services, focus on system change rather than individual children, assist their district in identifying problems and recommending solutions, work collaboratively with other PAC members, listen to gain information, share knowledge and skills, ask questions, participate in discussions, participate in development priorities, attend meetings regularly, contribute perspective and expertise, serve on PAC, their role and responsibilities. You serve on the executive board. Serve as a PAC, so you can serve on a PAC subcommittee. You can also assist in identifying and mentoring new members and contribute personal skills to PAC activities such as writing, organizing, and photographing. The next slide is the PAC roles within the school district. You talk to other families within your school district regularly. Make contact information available to parents in the district. Listen carefully to understand their service needs and ideas. Repeat what you hear them saying to make sure you understood. Listen for gaps in services to the PAC. Find a method of reporting PAC information back to families in your district and work collaboratively with the local school district. The recent PAC meetings are typically held the second Thursday of each month from September through June, beginning at 6:30 p.m. and they generally end about 8:30. Now we've done something different this year where our meetings are a combination of virtual and in person. So our September meeting was in person, and last month's meeting, which was in October, it was in person, where I got the opportunity to meet our new Director of Special Education, Mr. Armstrong, and it was great talking to him prior to him beginning, within our district. Next meetings are held via virtually and in person. Attendance for the PAC. PAC meetings are open to the public. Everyone is welcome to attend. Non-PAC members are requested to sign in as guests, and each month a Zoom link or call for the information is provided so that everyone can participate. Distribution of PAC information. The proposed agenda for the upcoming current month meeting and the proposed previous month's meeting minutes are sent out to members by electronic mail in advance of the monthly meeting. The PAC has a page on Rain Reese's website. It's up on the screen if you want to review presentations or anything like that for your leisure. The PAC started utilizing Remind as a reminder system just to send out text messages to parents and families that choose to sign up. PAC also has a listserv where members can forward information to Wayne Reese's PAC liaison, which is Vita Lust. The next slide for the PAC meetings, upcoming meetings this year for 23-24. You can view that in the packet. And the PAC representative contact information, which is myself. My email is missbrazil@icloud.com. You also can inbox me on Facebook Messenger at Aisha Shanae. Scott Armstrong is the Special Education Director. His contact information is 313-203-1000. Or you can contact your child's case manager and school board office to request your PAC representative's information. I want to stress the importance to parents about knowing who your child's case manager is, because when you contact the school, you speak to multiple individuals in special education, and I know that it can be very overwhelming, but parents, it's very important for you to know who your child's case manager is. That concludes my presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Rozelle, for your presentation. I really appreciate it. I'll turn it over to the board for questions. I see trustee Bilkowski.
So, our dates for the meetings got cut off on our presentation here.
I said it's the second Thursday, it's always the second Thursday.
It's always the second Thursday of the month. However, this year, we will not have any meetings in June. December and June are the 2 months that we decided not to conduct meetings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For clarification, Ms. Rozelle, this December?
Yes,
Or for-
December of 23 and then June of 24. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine, thank you. Are there any other questions from the board? Vice President Wong?
First, I want to thank you for taking this position, because I don't think there's been a high demand. My question is, isn't there like 2 spots available for this spot and like the second person? And if so, have we got a name for a second person at all?
So, Mr. Wall, you've been on the school board for quite some time. It's another parent that has expressed their interest. However, I don't know as to why it wasn't approved, and this is something that has been ongoing with the back and forth of having this parent be selected as a second PAC rep. Like, I would love to have another PAC rep. However, I think that this is an issue that has been ongoing, and the board has not addressed it. Well, some of the of course, I wouldn't expect for the newer board members to address it, but the previous board members, they know that a parent was interested in, know when to contact the parent or reach out. It was rules that was established as not in our bylaws.
But there's 2 spots available, though.
Correct. All school districts can have 2 PAC reps, with the exception of Detroit Public School Community District, because it's so large, they can have up to 5 reps.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the board? Mark?
Yeah, just a general comment. So in our discussion, we talked about the importance of having someone at the county level who knows a lot about special education programming, as Mrs. Brazils does. And as programs come around, as things change, to bring those back to our district. And I know that we've got the right person to do that. And so I just feel really good. I'm glad that you came this evening, presented, so everyone has a general understanding of the role of the PAC. I do believe that it's important in this discussion, and you guys know we've discussed it at this table and spent a lot of time at the start of the school year to make sure that we're doing everything we can here to meet the needs of our students. And when we have supports of parents that are on countywide committees, that can only help us by bringing programming, ideas, thoughts, and so literally that was supposed to be a 45-minute, went over an hour plus, so it was a great meeting.
All right, trustee Bilkowski?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Not for Ms. Purcell per se, more for the board. So if we have somebody who's interested in being a second PAC rep, how do we get that presented before the board so we can take action on that?
As a recommendation from the superintendent.
Excuse me. Per our bylaws, the parent has to express interest to the director of special education or either to the superintendent, and it can be a verbal request or in writing in order for that person to become a rep. The information is then brought to the superintendent and the board votes on it.
Thank you.
So as a recommendation from the superintendent. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Brazil.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions from the board? Vice President Wall?
I just wanted to mention, Chair, sit down, but I wanted to appreciate the part about you said about the parents should know who their case manager is, because you're right, you can make so many calls and you don't know who you're really supposed to be following up with. So I guess maybe a question down the road would be, how could we make sure that each parent knows directly who their case manager is? That would be something I would hope somehow could get figured out to help prevent future problems.
I think that communication, number one, that's the key. And the second thing is when the child enters the school, that should be, something that the case manager introduces themselves. Like, my daughter has had an IEP for 10 years, and it can get overwhelming because you're talking to various people. But if that case manager, introduces themselves, states, hey, I am Derek Wall's case manager, you can contact me, and this is our team. that would be, great and execute, the process for parents to feel more warming and welcoming as it relates to, their child's, disability.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions from the board? Hearing and seeing none, again, thank you, Mrs. Frizzell, for your presentation. On to letter B, hiring of Mr. Jason L. Lampkin to coach basketball at Annapolis High School. I didn't know if you wanted to speak of that at all, since it's still on our agenda. I know we made it letter L, but I just wanted to check. Okay, sounds good. On to superintendent's recommendations, letter A, non-certified staff resignation, exhibit number 1 in your packet. Be resolved that the Board of Education accepts the following non-certified staff resignations. You have Tamiko Trussell, paraprofessional at Annapolis High School, effective date October 14th, 2023. We have Patricia Sanchez, paraprofessional at OW Best, effective date October 26th, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Vice President Wall. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Secretary Winless. Is there a discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Sterling? Yes. Trustee Wall?
Yes.
Trustee Williams, yes. Trustee Darrow?
Yes.
Trustee Bukowski?
Yes.
Trustee Gator?
Yes, thank you. Motion carries. Into Tamiko Trussell and Patricia Sanchez, we thank you for your contributions to our district, and we wish you the best in your future endeavors. On to letter B, certified staff appointments, exhibit number 2. Be resolved that the Board of Education accepts the following certified staff appointment. Besmaya L. Ansari, position, English Language Arts at Annapolis High School, effective date October 31st, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Belkowski. Is there support? Support. Supported by Treasurer Sterlini. Is there discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Wall?
Yes.
Trustee Sterling? Yes. Trustee Williams, yes. Trustee Darrow?
Yes.
Trustee Bukowski?
Yes.
Trustee Gator?
Yes, motion carries. Into Besmaya L. Ansari, we welcome you to our district, and we thank you for coming. Letter C, approval of Annapolis Drama Students Competition and Workshop, exhibit number 3. Be resolved that the Board of Education approves the overnight competition and workshop for Annapolis drama students to the Lansing Center, Lansing, Michigan, on December 8th and 9th, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Belkowski. Is there
Support.
support? Supported by Secretary Winless, if I heard that correctly? Okay. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Sterling? Yes. Trustee Wall?
Yes.
Trustee Williams, yes. Trustee Darrow?
Yes.
Trustee Bukowski?
Yes.
Trustee Gator?
Yes, motion carries. Letter D, approval of the MEMIC Foundation Grant, exhibit number 4. Be resolved that the Board of Education approves the MEMIC Foundation Grant for Polk Elementary School as presented. Polk intends to use the grant to pay for student assemblies. Is there a motion?
So
So moved by Treasurer Sterlini. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Trustee Belkowski. Any discussion?
Is the amount supposed to be in a motion? Because it's in it for the other donations, so I just want to make sure.
It does. I'll defer that to Mark. Mark, do you know the?
It's in the check.
I know it's over $1,000.
I believe it is $1,000.
$1,000 exactly. Thank you, Secretary. Any other discussion? Roll call,
Trustee Wall?
Yes.
Trustee Williams, yes. Well, wait, did we amend the motion to include the $1,000? Did we got to go back and do the motion over?
please. Would the board like for us to amend the motion to read it correctly, or is the board okay with knowing that it is $1,000 per user? Treasurer Sterling?
It's not a big deal to me, I was just asking if we had the number.
Yeah, understand. I did write it in my record for the resolution. I could read it over and we can do it correctly if the board so chooses.
Yeah, let's amend it, just so we have it for the record.
All right. I will ask Trustee Belkowski to rescind her support,
I rescind my support.
and I will ask Treasurer Sterling to rescind her motion.
I rescind my motion.
All right. Be resolved that the Board of Education approves the MEMIC Foundation grant for $1,000 for Polk Elementary School as presented. Polk intends to use the grant to pay for student assemblies. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Treasurer Sterling. Any support?
Support.
Supported by Trustee Belkowski. Any discussion? Roll call,
Trustee Wall?
Yes.
Trustee Williams, yes. Trustee Sterling?
Yes.
Trustee Darrow?
Yes.
Trustee Bukowski?
Yes.
Trustee Gator?
please. Yes, motion carries. Letter E, approval of a Napalooza donation gift, exhibit number 5. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the music fundraiser donation to the music department of $5,000, which will be presented by Mr. John Zadikian, CEO, John Zadikian Multimedia, at the Fall Band and Choir Concert. Is there a motion? So moved by trustee Dyrall.
Support.
Supported by Secretary Winless. Any discussion?
I just have a question. It's for the music department. Any specific, like, for the MUMIC grant, we know that it's gonna be used for assemblies. What is the $5,000 for the music department?
I'll defer to Mark to see if he knows.
Yeah, so I think the donation comes in and they earmark those for needs of the program. I don't have the exact items on here in the acceptance letter, but we can get that information to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Trustee Bilkowski, just to make sure, or to the board in general, do we want to know what those funds will be used for before we put it to a vote? Is that a need to know or want to know? Just so I can be clear.
They want to know.
It's a want to know? All right, sounds good. Any other discussion from the board? Secretary
I
Wonders?
just wanted to say John Zadikian is one of my good neighbors. And I wanted to say thank you to him for doing that Napalooza. It was the second year that the event was run. It was a fantabulous event. It was a great time. Anytime you can get out, I know they're doing it again next year. Please get out and support the band department.
All right, thank you for that, and I concur. Any other discussion from the board? Roll call, please.
Trustee Winless, yes. Trustee Sterling?
Yes.
Trustee Dyrell?
Yes.
Trustee Bilkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Wall?
Yes.
Trustee Gator?
Yes, motion carries. Letter F, Earsman Architects, Bedford Elementary School Site Improvements, exhibit number 6. Be resolved that the Board of Education approves the contract for Earsman Architects for Bedford Elementary School Site Improvement Assessment as presented. Monies will be derived from ESSER 3 funds in the amount of $7,320.00. Is there a motion? So moved by trustee Dyrall. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Vice President Wall. Is there a discussion? I do want to uplift to the board that I sent an email out earlier. A board member had asked, or at least made mention, that in the exhibit it says monies will be derived from general funds, but per our resolution, it is saying it's from ESSER funds. It is correct in the resolution. It is from ESSER funds and not from general funds. So I just wanted to uplift that clarification. Okay? 2 more.
Yep. So this is to develop a master plan, conceptual site plan to focus on school safety, particularly behind the elementary building. As you know, there's the way the space is configured. There's parking areas that kind of intersect with playground areas. So we need to definitely get that looked at. Look at dedicated drop-off, pickup, on-site parking. But a key component of this is to redevelop those playgrounds, make it safer for students, look at those old tennis courts, the baseball diamond, create maybe a pathway, a public seating area, some stations for fitness. So it's a whole conceptual development design for that coming out of the building site. So.
Thank you for that explanation, Mark. Any other discussion from the board? Roll call, please.
Trustee Winless, yes. Trustee Wall?
Yes.
Trustee Bilkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Sterling? Yes. Trustee Dyrell?
Yes.
Trustee Gator?
Yes, motion carries. Letter G, Charlotte Danielson Framework for Teaching, exhibit number 7. Be resolved that the Board of Education approves the Danielson Group, Inc. invoice to purchase the Charlotte Danielson Framework for Teaching plus Talk About Teaching Combo online course in the amount of $5,490.00. Monies will be derived from general fund. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Bilkowski. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by trustee Dyrall. Is there discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Winless, yes. Trustee Wall?
Yes.
Trustee Dyrell?
Yes.
Trustee Sterling?
Yes.
Trustee Bilkowski?
Yes.
And Trustee Gator?
Yes, motion carries. Letter H, renewal of Imagine Learning invoice for E7 Virtual Academy, exhibit number 8. Be resolved that the Board of Education approves the renewal of the Imagine Learning invoice for courses in the Dearborn Heights District 7 virtual program. Monies will be derived from the ESSER 3 fund account at a cost of $47,280.00. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Vice President Walls, there's support. Supported by President Gainer. Any discussion? Roll call, please. Oh, sorry, I missed his hand, and then I see yours too now. Vice President Walls.
So my only question I wanted to maybe inquire about is, I know it's a renewal and it's ESSER 3 funds, and if this is something that we're going to be renewing, do we have some ideas of what might happen after the ESSER 3 funds are used up?
I'll defer that to Mark, and then Trustee Bilkowski, I did see your hand too.
I'm sorry, it was the same question.
It was the same question. Okay, so I'll defer to Mark.
Yep, so that's a great question. The district needs to, and we need to make a decision as a leadership team on this program moving forward, because it is funded for the courses from ESSER dollars. And as we know, September, those ESSER dollars dry up. So that's the decision that we're gonna have to make moving forward on our programming. And so we are in the process of developing an overall plan for that and really taking a deep dive into the costs for the district, the benefits for the district, the courses, the number of students, and so that is a work in progress.
Okay, and Trustee Bilkowski, you had the same question, so I just wanted to make sure, is there anything else you may have wanted to add?
Go ahead to Trustee Dyroff, and then I will.
All right, Trustee Ballard.
When you say that we're working on a plan, we can expect that in the spring, you're talking about for the following year.
Yeah, we definitely need to make a decision, because without that funding, I mean,
Right.
that's an impact on the general fund budget. And so, so that decision needs to be made rolling into the 24-25 school year.
Thank you.
All right, Trustee Bilkowski.
So I remember now what I wanted to say. It's the attached documentation includes the invoice as well as a list of students and the courses they are in the process of taking. There is no list of students or classes that they're taking here.
Yes.
Students have until the end of the first semester to complete these classes.
Yeah, so we did have the list, but I didn't want to put students' names in the board packet, so I pulled the list from here, but I can get that to you.
You don't necessarily need the student list, but the courses they are taking I'm interested in.
Yeah, we certainly can do that.
And I see that it's for, that's not, never mind, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion from the board? Secretary Ruble.
I just wanna know if not approving this impacts someone's graduation.
If we don't approve this, then we can't pay for these classes, so it could have an impact, definitely. Yep. We'd have to drop those students from the courses that they're currently in.
So that's courses that they are currently in as well as graduation. Okay, that was my question too. Thank you for that. Any other discussion from the board? Bilkowski.
So how many students would this impact if it doesn't get approved?
We have that. So I don't have that number in front of me, but it would definitely have an impact. I mean, these are quite a few classes. I believe they're, I don't have that map in front of me, so there are 197 classes at 240 pop, so it would impact. Now, a student could be taking 3 or 4 classes, but it is a number of students that would impact.
Is this K through 12?
This 3 through 12.
Trustee Dyer.
So I'm assuming that this board approved this program at some point for this year.
You're correct.
And so it is our responsibility to get through this year and to support them, in my opinion, and support the classes. I am looking forward to the new plan or what will come to us in the spring.
Thank you, Trustee Dyer. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Dyer.
Yes.
Trustee Wall.
Yes.
Trustee Reynolds. Yes. Trustee Bilkowski.
Yes.
Trustee Serene. Yes. Trustee Gator.
Yes, motion carries. Letter I, renewal of vocabulary A to Z licenses, exhibit number 9. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the renewal of vocabulary A to Z licenses, a digital solution for helping K-5 students build vocabulary and increase reading comprehension. The funding source is Title I at a cost of $6,318.00. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Vice President Wall, supported by Trustee Bilkowski. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Bilkowski.
Yes.
Trustee Wall.
Yes.
Trustee Williams, yes. Trustee Dyroff.
Yes.
Trustee Stalini, yes. Trustee Gay.
Yes, motion carries. Letter J, Board Member MASB Conference Registration, Lansing, Michigan, Exhibit number 10. Be it resolved that the Board of Education authorizes the attendance of Derek Wall at the MASB Conference in Lansing, November 9th through November 12th, 2023. Registered classes are MASB CBA 264, Shaping Public Opinion, CBA 344, High School and Beyond, CBA 303, Overseeing the Superintendency, CBA 259, Creating Trust, Key in School Improvement, CBA 215, Advanced School Finance, and CBA 232, Communicating Effectively in Difficult Times, at a cost to the district of $1,023.00 with reimbursement for hotel stay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Treasurer Sterlini. I didn't hear the support.
I'll support.
Okay, supported by Trustee Dyroff. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Bilkowski.
Yes.
Trustee Stalini, yes. Trustee Wall.
Yes.
Trustee Williams, yes. Trustee Dyroff.
Yes.
Trustee Gay.
Yes, motion carries. Letter K, Assistant Principal, Athletic Director for Annapolis High School, Exhibit number 11. Be resolved that the Board of Education appoints Mr. Brian Buchanan as the Assistant Principal, Athletic Director for Annapolis High School. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Secretary Winless. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Vice President Wall, and I also hear Trustee Bilkowski. Is there discussion? To Mark.
Yeah, so we're excited about this hire to bring Brian to the school district. He has a bachelor's degree from Eastern, a master's degree from Concordia University in Wisconsin in educational leadership. He's been an academic and behavior intervention specialist, as well as an athletic director. He's coached. His references came through. Just a couple of words, keywords that followed up. Passionate. He's a relationship builder, communicator, very loyal, and he sets high expectations for his students. So I think he's going to be a great addition to the D7 family. I do want to add and thank Mr. Scott Weimer, who's been filling in that position, done a fantastic job. We are going to, of course, there's going to be a transition period. We're going to keep Scott on for a bit to work with Brian, but I'm very pleased that we're doing this, and certainly want to thank Scott for stepping in and filling in that role.
All right. Thank you for that, Mark. Any other discussion from the board? Roll call, please.
Trustee Wall.
Yes.
Trustee Williams. Yes. Trustee Stalini, yes. Trustee Dyroff.
Yes.
Trustee Bilkowski.
Yes.
Trustee Gay.
Yes, motion carries. Welcome, Mr. Buchanan. That's a tongue twister. Letter L, be resolved that the Board of Education appoints Jason L. Lampkin to coach basketball at Annapolis High School. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Secretary Winless. Is there support? Support. Supported by Trustee Bilkowski. Is there discussion? To Mark.
So this is an EduStaff position, and that's why it's unique in the wording and putting it on here. So to bring him aboard, you guys have to vote to approve him. I spent a considerable amount of time interviewing him. A nice young gentleman. Looked at his information in the board packet. He's done an awful lot of coaching, and he's actually an MHSAA referee. So you got to give a person some kudos for that, right? So that's why we're bringing him aboard. He's going to be a good addition.
Thank you, Mark, for that. Any other discussion from the board? Roll call, please.
Trustee Wall.
Yes.
Trustee Williams, yes. Trustee Stalini. Yes. Trustee Dyroff.
Yes.
Trustee Bilkowski.
Yes.
Trustee Gay.
Yes, motion carries. We welcome you, Mr. Lampkin, to our district. On to unfinished business, Citizens Advisory Committee. So just wanted to give a brief update. That posting has been out for almost 2 weeks. We are set to close those postings or that candidate timeframe tomorrow at 4 p.m. To date, if my memory serves me correctly, we've had about 3 to 4 applicants submit their interest letters at this time. So to anyone who still may be interested, please consider submitting your interest letter to Susan and to Leslie, either via email or via mail to the board office by tomorrow at 4 p.m. Is there any questions for me or Mark from the board regarding the Citizens Advisory Committee? All right, hearing and seeing none. Mark, do you have any unfinished business? Okay. On to new business. There is not any new business at this time. Mark, again, is there any new business? All right. District points of pride, I'll turn it over to you. We're good? Okay. Mark, district points of pride.
Okay, very good. So just have a few things here that I wanted to share with the board, with everybody. First of all, the employee retention incentive that you folks approved, we're in the process of rolling that out. Yesterday, during our meeting, this place was full. If you guys were sitting here, you would have got the applause that I got, but I think it was meant for you guys. I told all of our employees I was so proud of the board for moving forward on that, and immediately a round of applause. So I think that was meant for you guys, as well as the union leadership who assisted in working this through and putting all the components together as well. So I just want to thank the board, and I really think it sends a strong message. Matter of fact, I've had people telling me this, a strong message that we're together and that this board and administration cares about our employees and our staff. So I had someone actually tell me that, so that's pretty cool, So the round of applause, I'm sure, was meant for you guys. That's cool. Very pleased with the professional development day yesterday. The focus was on meeting the needs of our special education students. We included general ed staff, special ed staff, and paraprofessionals. We had kind of breakout sessions with the focus being on, for the general ed, special education overview, and 504, because sometimes the 504 students get lost. So, and then with the special education staff, Mr. Scott Armstrong, our new special ed director, put on a presentation for those folks. Our parents, we had people from Wayne Risa that met with our parents. I sat in on that for a little bit. They were having more fun than any of us, so that was really cool. They were really discussing about the role of paras in classrooms, and we no longer call them one-to-one paras, but they're more proximity paras, and so really good discussion. Also, our support staff were involved in dealing with Tier 1 medical, parent notice, early childhood registry. Jason had his folks over for a staff meeting, so it was a great use of the professional development time. Just a couple of quick updates from the building. Middle school, the focus, I think, has had a positive impact. They really kicked off this PBS. I was at their early assembly on that. The cheerleaders were involved. They developed a cheer for that. It was really cool, but they got the book fair upcoming. They're implementing Dreambox and iReady. Those are both things that the board came to this board for approval. That implementation is going well. The high school college application weeks, counselors did a great job. The haunted hallways, I was unfortunately not able to make it, but they raised a lot of money for the class of 2025, like $4,000. I heard it was great attendance and great event. The elementary buildings have been busy with the iReady pilots as well. They completed their first diagnostics. The students are working on their learning targets. From that, fifth grade campus success, Indigenous Peoples Month, they've been doing assemblies. I caught a little bit of the one at Bedford last week, and then the one today at Polk. And of course, the Halloween activities were a great hit. Trunk or treat was a great success. The cool thing about it, I heard, was this OWS students volunteering, right, and working with our little ones. But all kinds of games, food trucks, very well attended. Estimate of about 350 people. I actually got to witness my first elementary costume parade. And one one of our employees, Carol, was there, and she was dressed up, handing out candy, so it's awesome. They've done pumpkin raffles to support you guys, just a lot of great things going on. And then today at the high school was the Sports World. The speaker that came in, Ruthie Bolton, she brought her 2 gold medals, which was really cool. The Rotary sponsored this event, so thanks to the Rotary for supporting our schools. And her message was, live your dream, and don't let anybody stop you from living that dream. It was really inspirational. So just upcoming events, of course, no school election day, and then the 8th and 9th are the parent-teacher conferences for the elementary, the 9th is OWFest. Those are half days, along with the 16th parent-teacher conferences for Annapolis. So what's going on?
All right. Thank you, Mark, for our district's points of pride. On to public comment number 2. Is there any public comment to come before the board this evening? Good evening and welcome.
Hello, Heather Sanders, 1440 Main Street. So I just have the same questions that I had at the last meeting that have not been answered yet. And it was just about the homecoming floats, if we're gonna do them. Could we find out about that sooner than later? And then I forgot to put it on my paper last time, so I added it to this one. If we decide to go forward with homecoming floats, can we store them somewhere near the field instead of over across the neighborhood and then nobody gets to see them and the kids work really hard on them? So that's it, just the same stuff as last week.
Okay. Thank you for your public comment. Is there any other public comments come before the board? Good evening and welcome.
Lanai Young, 871 West Philadelphia Street. So for one, my 7th hour classroom door, like let's say a school shooter comes in, let's pray it doesn't happen. What am I supposed to do in my 7th hour when my door doesn't lock? It doesn't close either, it won't stay closed. We have the lockdown locks, right? Our lock doesn't work. We tried twisting it and everything, we twisted it all the way. And it didn't work. It kept popping open. Now imagine your kid is sitting in the classroom when a shooter comes in. We're gone. There's a courtyard right next to it. We're dead. That entire class, all of those students are gone. How am I supposed to feel safe when I know that my school isn't even checking our locks? And for 2, there's a predatory teacher at our school. I saw the videos of his au natural photos he sent to a student. How am I supposed to feel safe? I'm in a classroom right next to this teacher. I have talked to this teacher. I don't feel comfortable knowing that a teacher is sending photos to a student. And number 3, these parapros at Annapolis are ridiculous. Something happened to a girl who I consider family. And it shouldn't have happened. Why? Because she has a parapro. I had gym with this girl, and guess what her parapro did? When she had meltdowns, when she had outbursts, which is normal because she's autistic, it's normal. Do you want to know what her parapro did? Nothing. I saw her in the bleachers talking to students, on the track talking to students. She's had more conversations with me than I've seen her have a conversation with her students she's supposed to be with. How am I supposed to feel safe and accounted for in my school if I look around and all this is going on? That's it.
Thank you for your public comment. Is there any other public comments come before the board? Good evening and welcome.
Aisha Brazil. I just want to say thank you to Lanaya for speaking up. That was my daughter that she was talking about. And I'm at a loss of words. Mark, I want to say thank you for, since you've been here, like you've really made a difference within our district. Like it's not a time that I can email, call, and you don't respond. Like that's the difference that I discovered when I started in this district 10 years ago. Like it's been gone for a minute, but it's like the feeling is starting to come back. But then it's like a sting that you feel because I feel like I've been at this podium countless times to talk about protecting our kids in special education, especially. Like especially, my daughter was involved in a physical altercation this week. She's on the spectrum. I do everything that I can to ensure that she succeeds and she wins. I advocate, she's in therapy. I talk to the principal. I even attempt to talk to the teacher, but it's like it falls on deaf ears. I get tired, but I get back up to fight again. Why? Because she depends on me. These kids in this district depends on me. You can try to take my title, but you will never silence me. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. The whole thing that went on with the ordeal with me being a PAC rep, I've been a PAC rep for 6 years. There was never another parent that stepped up to be the PAC rep besides Barb Young. And y'all blocked her from doing that. Nobody should have to fight this hard for kids to have a fair education. That's what they entitled to. Free and appropriate education for all. It's countless times that I sent emails to the previous administration. I sent it to board members too. What has been done? It's swept under the rug. I'm tired of begging and pleading for you all to give my daughter the damn education that she deserves. If you want to vote me off from being PAC rep, I don't care. But I'm going to fight for Jade Conyers. The students were outraged by my daughter getting into an altercation. Why? Because my daughter represents love. She represents peace. If anybody has ever met Jade, they will tell you she's the happiest damn kid in America. She compliments you from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. You could have a rough day, and she gonna come and tell you, oh, you're beautiful. If that don't brighten your day, something wrong with you. You the devil. But one thing I'm gonna stand for, I'm gonna stand for these kids in special education. As I told the students at Annapolis High School, don't seek revenge. Talk to your school board. Talk to your principal. Talk to your assistant superintendent for a better education for kids in special education. I commend Lanaya for coming up here to speak up. Y'all don't have a tendency to listen to parents, but I hope that y'all listen to these kids. I come up here with good intent, nice, everything, but something has to be done. It's gonna be done on my watch. I got 2 years as the PAC rep, and I hope with y'all help, we fix this district. Let this district be the district that parents want to bring their kids to that's in special education. Let's reform. Something has to change with education. And it needs to change now. My other 2 questions is, why are we charging for trunk or treat? We've never charged for that. And then 2, what happened to Veterans PTO? Thank you.
Thank you for your public comment. Is there any other public comments come before the board? Good evening, welcome.
My name is Leslie X, which is inspired by the late great Betty X, which is the wife of Malcolm X. I wrote this speech last year, but found it to be relevant to how I feel today and wanted to share it with my D7 family. A family can be defined as a group of related things. I defined it as a group of people who share a love for related things. The D7 community is a family, and that is a statement I don't think that anyone here will disagree with. But like every family, we have our flaws, secrets, dirt, but that goes along with the amazing things like graduation, sports, parties, and FUN, fun. The problem with some families is that they don't talk about the dark things out loud, and they only glorify the good things. To keep the family secret a secret, some family members turn into oppressors. But their unspoken intentions are just to preserve the legacy of the family, i.e. to protect it. Here are some common intimidation tactics they use. 1, they might silence people from speaking publicly on issues that are frowned upon. 2, they might keep the death or exile of a family member a secret. 3, they may make statements to other family members to discredit the person that is speaking up. When any of these silencing tactics are used to shut a family member up, it often triggers a fight, flight, or freeze reaction. The family, intentionally or not, is silencing a member who feels hurt, betrayed, and angry during the time they need to speak out the most. See something, say something, they say. Then when you say it, you get silence. Silence is often not attributed to listening, but attributed to complicity. So my least favorite family members are the ones who see so much and say so little. Dr. King taught us that riot is the language of the unheard. When you feel unheard as a family member, you often lash out. If you have a fight response, you might stop going to functions. You might tell people you're sick, but you're really fine. If you have a fighter response, you might speak negatively publicly, even though you have social anxiety. If you have a freeze response, you might cuss, yell, or scream at the podium when you speak. The whole time, all you're saying is see me, hear me, do something, no matter how you're saying it or who's saying it. There's a D7 difference, but strangers don't get to discover it on their own. The truth is you can't discover the D7 difference because it isn't meant to be found. It's a feeling. It's an unspoken vow that you get as soon as you walk through the front doors of these schools. The only rules that anyone needs to know to be successful here is that 1, we are family. 2, we don't sweep problems under the rug. 3, what you say, you have to mean. 4, what you commit to, you have to do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your public comment. Is there any other public comments coming before the board? Good evening and welcome.
How you doing? So my name is Anthony Young, and I'm from Detroit, Michigan. First off, I want to say to Jay that the Young family loves you, and that we're always here for you, and that we're sorry about what happened. And anytime you need us, we're always there. Second of all, to Aisha, we're here for you, and I understand your pain and what you're dealing with. To my daughter, thank you for having the courage to come up here and speak, and just be transparent about your issues at the school. So first of all, I would like to speak about the PAC rep thing as well. I'm glad that Aisha spoke on it because my wife was blocked. She actually did submit her name, and it went all the way to the superintendent who was supposed to be voted on, and at the last minute, the board blocked it. So I don't appreciate the fact that y'all sitting up here acting like this didn't happen. It definitely happened. Y'all chose not to vote on it for whatever reason, and it didn't make sense. There's no reason why we shouldn't have another PAC rep after all of this time. How long she been doing this by herself? And for what? My wife wanted to step up like 2 years ago. She's been trying to do this for years. And because of how she presents her argument as to how you guys are functioning, she was blocked because that's all it was. She speaks up against the nonsense that goes on in the district, and people don't like it. But it doesn't matter if you have somebody that's trying to step up for the betterment of these kids that don't have anybody else to do it for them, or have a lack of people that's doing it for them. So please don't act like you guys didn't know, because it's insulting. It really truly is, especially to the person that put their whole heart into trying to make this district a better place. Second of all, I would like to speak about just the needs of the treatment of the special needs kids. I hear a lot of people say like, I don't want to single them out, or I don't want to treat them differently. But the fact of the matter is if you don't treat them differently, you're not treating them how they need to be treated. That's one of the issues. When you treat a special needs child as if they're just any other child, how are you meeting that child's needs? How are you giving that child exactly what they need in order to function? It's not to say that you treat them better than them, but you have to remember they have a mental instability that causes them to be different, to function differently. And it's not their fault. I have multiple kids on the spectrum. And what I know is, just for an example, if my kids are approached in front of the classroom about something they may or may not have done, it affects them completely differently than what it will affect the rest of the classroom. They don't handle open criticism well, like some kids do. But if you guys were doing that special needs training like you're supposed to be doing, you would understand that. Why is it that people who don't have special needs training are allowed to interact with children with special needs? That doesn't make sense. How can you understand what that child is dealing with or what that child is going through if you never even went to some type of training to understand how they think? or how they act the way they are, or why they act the way they act. It's not fair to the child. It's not fair to the child. And you guys have to understand that even though you may have, best interest in mind, whose best interest do you have in mind? Because when you're acting on behalf of somebody else, you're supposed to have their best interest in mind. Not yours, not the cost, not any of that. When you want something done, like all of you, when it comes to your family, when you want something done, you make it work, you make it happen. These kids are supposed to be a part of your family, period. It doesn't matter that it's more difficult or that it costs more, or get it done. That's all that matters. Because if it was your child, you would be trying to do the same exact thing. And I'm not just talking about my child, I'm talking about any child with special needs in this district that is not getting what they deserve, or getting a lack of what they deserve. It's not fair. The so-called normal kids are going about their business, just flourishing. But these special needs kids, they're being left behind in a lot of areas, and it's not fair. And the last point to my daughter is the door locks. There's no way that you guys can't have somebody go around before school starts and check to see if door locks work. All you gotta do is close the door, spin the lock. That's what, 5 minutes, are you sure? You can't have a custodian or somebody go around and simply check the locks, because like my daughter stated, if something was to go wrong, what do you think will happen? Because I can guarantee you as a parent, I'm coming to y'all. Thank you.
Thank you for your public comment. Is there any other public comments coming before the board? Good evening and welcome.
Alyssa Howard, Annapolis High School alumni. I didn't have time to prepare anything really, but I just feel like I need to express that I believe our district needs to talk and educate our students about children that are special needs. The treatment that they receive is truly not fair, and they deserve to be understood by their peers and accepted by their peers. Thank you.
Thank you for your public comment. Is there any other public comments come before the board? Is there any other public comments come before the board? Last call, any other public comment to come before the board? Hearing and seeing none. On to other business, board committee updates. There are not any board committee updates at this time, meaning no minutes to review from the board. On to upcoming board committee meetings. There is no bond committee scheduled at this time. Our next building and site committee meeting will be on November the 15th at 5:30 p.m. at Annapolis High School Media Center. There is no finance committee meeting scheduled at this time, no policy committee meeting scheduled at this time, no technology committee meeting scheduled at this time. Meetings, dates, times, and locations are subject to change, and updates will be announced via district website and social media. Is there any other business to come before the board? Okay. Okay, to Secretary Moore.
Okay. All right. So my first thing is my attendance, and anybody who wants to follow, I did put copies with the agenda too.
Copies of what?
My other business.
Oh, I'm sorry, where might it be?
With the agendas.
Oh, I didn't see it on there. Do you mind if I go? Thank you.
Okay, I'm very proud, thank you.
You did right.
None of them are motions or anything like that, so it should be just straight reading through them. So for my attendance, first I'd like to thank everyone who called and texted to check on me in my absence for the last 2 meetings. I feel it's important to distinguish that the first absence was for a Rooted Bible Study group that I previously committed to but then forgot about. The second was due to a mental health hospitalization that I hope inspires each of us to take better care of ourselves. I coach students every day at work and in the community to fight past the stigma of mental health and show up to school anyway. So I wanted to be brave just like them. I wanted to share this information to eliminate the stigma that surrounds mental health because we are all human. I did get to catch up on both meetings, so for my other visits and kudos, they'll be a little bit longer than usual, so thank you in advance for your patience. So the first one is due to my hospitalization, I missed Joey's visual event and his bench ceremony, but was able to spend time with Katie recently. I also got to review the footage from the bench dedication and wanted to send love and support to the entire Smith family from the Woodlands family. We love you and would have been there if we could have. As a district, I'd love to see us speak more about the ways we can support the crossing guards. One idea that I brought up to the last administration is late start options for seniors. I know that change is scary, but this is something that could work for us. And I didn't know if everybody was familiar with what the late start for seniors was, because I wasn't sure if it was brought forward to everybody or what.
So is that a question?
Yeah,
Can you explain it again? I'm sorry.
the late start for seniors.
You didn't know if the board is aware
If the
of
board
what it
is
is.
aware of it, because I sent it to the last administration, so I wanted to make sure everybody knew
Okay.
what late start.
Is the board aware? Does the board want to hear an explanation of what
I
that
would
is?
like to hear an explanation. I was never intended.
Okay. Same? All right.
So there is school districts in our area that offer late starts for everybody who is not like a morning person. Basically, you can choose to start school at 9, you can choose to start school at 10, or you can choose to start school at 11, but you would go later into the evening for your classes. I was recommended that we try this out for our senior class to give them an opportunity to apply to be crossing guards, because they can't do it if they go to school at the same time as the younger, well, they go to school before the younger kids. So it was supposed to be like a pilot program so that we could see if it would work for our district, and it was supposed to go to the teachers union first. So the next thing is a raise for the interim assistant superintendent, or the assistant superintendent and interim superintendent. So as a union president, I really cannot sleep when someone is doing work and not being compensated fairly for that work. So I would formally like to propose that this body investigate providing a stipend until he resumes his role as the assistant superintendent. I brought the same proposal forward for the last person who fell in this position, so I'm proposing that this be an agenda item for our next regular scheduled meeting. Next is the second law firm. So I would like to ask for an update on the search for the second law firm, as well as information on how we can change the search process for the said firm. I would like to see a process where the interviews just come straight to us, and it wouldn't have to go through anybody else to do interviews for a second law firm. Next on here is Friendsgiving. Friendsgiving is an annual event to raise awareness for food insecurity and homelessness each November. We provide community members with free turkey meals, including halal options, winter clothes, books, and resources. The second annual event will be held at OW Best. Thank you to Mark and his team so much for getting that scheduled. It will be on November the 18th at 4 p.m. To volunteer or donate, you can reach out to myself or the PAC rep, Aisha Purcell. The next thing is the Civility Project, which I'm super excited about. So the Civility Project seeks to help Americans build civility in the workplace and in political spheres, and in societal gatherings of people from different origins and perspectives. The program is ran by celebrated journalists Nolan Finley and Stephen Henderson, who have been longtime friends despite their different perspectives on pretty much everything. For those who don't know, they write for a very popular newspaper, and one writes the liberal column and one writes the conservative column. So that tells like kind of where they differ on everything. So the one thing they agree on is the importance of friendship, which includes a healthy dose of disagreement and mutual respect. I think this is something we can benefit from as a community, so I'm excited to announce that with the help of Principal Brown and Assistant Principal Allen, the Civility Project will be coming to OW Best for any interested adult to commemorate Black History Month on February the 29th, 2024 at 7 p.m. And that is it for my other business. Thank you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just want to say to the two requests, at least from what I'm understanding, the agenda items, allow me some time to talk with the board between now and when we make the agenda representative to determine how this can best be presented. Okay. Any other business to come before the board?
Yes, I wanted to ask questions about some of the things I heard during, public comment. And so I just wanted to make sure that I can get a follow-up on a few things. So the first one, I would like a follow-up on the trunk or treat, and why there was a decision to charge this year. I think as a district, we can work together some kind of way to make sure that event is free. I happen to be a lead on several, community trunk or treats, and I do them for upwards to 3,000 people, and I've never ever charged in the 7 years I've done it. So I know that it can be done for free and pretty much based on just donations from the community. So I definitely offer my expertise in that area, and we will be willing to help the PTO next year for planning that event to be free to the public. The next one is the lock on the door. If I could just be copied on that response. And then the next one is, are there trainings for students on how to be like a peer to students with disabilities? Like I know that we train the staff, but I'm wondering if there are student trainers or student assemblies that we do to prevent situations like what Ms. Burzell had brought up. And then that's it.
All right. So in respect to those questions, Mark, we'll defer those to you, and then we can get it out to the full board, because it may be a point for all of us. Yes. All right. Sounds good. Any other business to come before the board?
Can I make a comment? So can
Yeah,
I back up a little? What you were saying about the training for the students, I think that's something we need. But I know, I live at Allen Park, I don't know if they still do it, I'm sure other schools. I apologize, I don't know if we do it here, but they have buddy systems. So they have a student that goes with the kids, their special needs kids, and they go with them to make sure, and they're their advocates. So if there is if they're saying like a substitute teacher, you know, and there's an issue, like they're their voice. So actually, I think Linden schools did it because my nephew did it for a time. He was a partner for a kid, so that they have an extra body to help buffer issues. So again, I don't know if we have that here, but something to think about.
Okay. For my other business, I want to also speak to some of the public comment regarding the floats. I do remember seeing an email go out. It wasn't maybe answering the question directly, but a response was given. Mark, do you want to say what that response was?
I did inquire about that, but
Okay.
I haven't seen that email yet,
Okay.
so it's probably in my inbox,
Okay.
so I will get to it, so we'll figure it out. But
Got
I
it.
did send an email inquiring, so.
Okay. Okay. And also for other business, I just want to speak very quickly to something. Again, just to reiterate, for our PAC reps, I did do some research and I spoke with Wayne Risa, but I also spoke with Mark at the time because he was in charge, that any recommendations that he wanted to make to bring to the board for those PAC rep appointments, it was his right to do so per that recommendation from the superintendent. So it was not my intention to make anyone feel that they're being blocked, at least for my time being president. It's just that I know and I learned from Wayne Risa that that has to come from the superintendent as a recommendation. So if Mark, if that is something that you want to bring to the board, we look forward to it and then we put it to a vote. Okay?
Just want to ask a question on that.
Yeah.
Did you forward the interest letter to Mark from Barb Young so that he would know that she to interview her as a candidate?
What I can, and I can't speak to that because I don't want to look at my phone and check. What I can say is that any information that I am aware of about who may want to be appointed, Mark was fully informed of it.
So to be transparent, I do recall this was a conversation, and I apologize because this should have been, I apologize for not helping it perpetuate and keep it going because I do recall it has come up in conversations. This was prior to Mark, so Mark had no way of knowing. And then, yeah, we definitely need to get on this and do better. So I apologize for that.
Okay, that is it for my other business. And again, it doesn't seem like any other board member has any other business. So we will move on to kudos. Treasurer Sterling, because Nadia is not here.
Yep, I got
Very good. We'll start with Trustee Dyrell.
Okay, my kudos is from Ariel Brown to OWS PTO's group and staff. And the staff of Ms. Anderson Anderson, Mr. Poe, Mr. Lapham Solis, Mrs. Moran, Mrs. Thompson, Ms. Knapp, Mrs. Pertola, Ms. Mast, Mr. Harmon, Mr. Turgeon, Mrs. Canfield, Mrs. Bowers. And she apologizes if she missed anyone, and I apologize if I pronounced any names wrong. And the kudos is for creating a wonderful event and experience for our students. The dance was lit, so to speak. Students had an excellent time in the cafeteria and the gym. It has been a pleasure working with all the individuals in this group. It is obvious and evident that the students are the focal point. Thank you for your efforts thus far.
This is to Andy James from Ariel Brown, dated October 27th. For always looking out for our students and staff. We are down and out without a DJ. We were down and out without a DJ and quickly worked around these issues. You magically created sound and a DJ spot for the Halloween dance. You worked quickly and efficiently as you came to our rescue. Andy, you are a teacher and a colleague that truly cares about helping others. I appreciate you on so many levels. The next kudos is to Sandra Sims, Mark Z. Joby, Amy Golan, Brianna Kaufman, Michelle Chiskowski, Heather Van Etten, Stacy McLaughlin, Marissa Martin, Carrie Macchio, Pam Slezak, Wigika, Emily Shook, Chad Kell, Megan Costa, Elaine Krochak, Elizabeth Ortwine, and Kendra Hayden from Kayla Bomley Garza, dated October 26th. Thank you for your participation in Bedford Student Council's first ever trunk or treat. Thanks to these wonderful staff members and many community members, the event was an incredible success with hundreds of students and their families participating. I appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Mine is to Kelly Mack from Ariel Brown for being an awesome student council lead. We couldn't have asked for a better or more fun-filled Spirit Week. From the 90s dress up, to the costumes, to the DJs, etc. Our kids and staff had an excellent time. You worked with our kids every lunch period leading up to the dance. Without your efforts, we wouldn't have had such an incredible fun week. I look forward to more exciting events that you will plan and lead for this school year. Our schools and children have truly been enriched by your efforts. Sorry.
Was that it for you? Okay. I have two Megan Sears from Amanda Stager. Thank you for being such an amazing, my apologies, teacher and colleague. I do not know how you do it, working double time with the full class load, helping create materials for ELL students, and posting materials for an additional English 11 classroom. Your enthusiasm and team player mentality has helped keep us afloat while down one English teacher. Thank you, Megan.
I have three. To Jen Mast and Dawn Portella from Ariel Brown, October 27, 23, for quickly becoming our resident DJs on the spot at our Halloween dance. Jen and Dawn, you both show your kindness and commitment to our students on a daily basis, but this was truly going above and beyond. You jumped into action and began running the music and requests. You also had a hand in monitoring and managing students as the dance went on. Truly, I am forever grateful that you took on these efforts. Not sure students would have had so much fun without you guys. Thanks again. To Jennifer Finan from Amanda Stager, October 30th, 2023. Kudos for scaring us all at Haunted Halls. This community event is so special and so many look forward to it every year. Thank you for all the hours spent preparing and building and planning after school. It was an amazing night filled with fright. The class of 2025 is lucky to have you as their dedicated sponsor. Also another shout out to AJ Finan, way to keep it scary, Finans. And then I have to Polk and Party PTO from the Polk family, October 30th, 23. The Polk and Party PTOs did an outstanding job of organizing and facilitating the Trunk or Treat event this year. It was a wonderful event that brought more than 400 kids, staff, parents, and community members together to celebrate the season. Thank you so much for all your wonderful things you do for our community. And I just want to make one special note. I didn't realize that all three of these had our school and the children have truly been enriched by our efforts. And then I was kind of looking at everybody else's, and I realized they all say that. So. And I just wanted to just say one kudos to the Haunted Halls. I was able to pertain to it 2 years ago, and it was great. Last year I did go, this time I did go, but unfortunately I was in line for over 45 minutes and I just had to get to another event. But I think that was because we were just blessed with such good weather that day, so because the line was long. So thank you.
The line was always long, which is a good thing. All right, thank you. Trustee.
I have three. To Deanna Baldwin from Don Lipinski, dated 11/1. Deanna does a great job with our Young Fives program. She goes above and beyond for her students and works diligently to assure all students are getting the instruction and help they need. She does a great job communicating with the parents and fostering a solid working relationship with them so they can work together as a team throughout the school year. Deanna is not only an important member of the Party family, she is a trusted colleague and mentor who always displays professionalism in her work. We are very glad Deanna is here at Party. To the D7 Tech Department from Deb Kroki at Annapolis High School, dated 10/20. Thank you for installing and fixing the district records server. We would be lost without this information and appreciate all that you do to keep our data safe. To Dakota Poremba, it's P-O-R-E-M-B-A, sorry, from Don Lipinski, dated 11/1. For Dakota, Dakota is our resource room teacher and she does some amazing work with her students. Her caseload consists of students at a variety of levels and many of them who have been diagnosed with multiple learning disabilities. Dakota is professional and patient with all of her students and they all love Mrs. Poremba and they are excited to go to her classroom. Dakota does a great job working with parents and explaining all of the overwhelming information that is given to them because they have a child who receives special education services. Dakota is always willing to help any of the teachers or staff members at Party. She always has a smile on her face, and we are glad she's a member of the Party team. So I apologize if I said anybody's name wrong. I have kudos though. It was a great job the high school seniors did at the Haunted Halloweens. I did go this year, first time. They did a great job. Halloween was one of my favorite holidays. It was great. It was fabulous. Can't say enough about it, like all of them. I know there was little hiccups with some kids having issues there, causing disturbances, and so I'm just glad they worked through it and they were able to get it done. It was great. And to the teachers and everyone involved with that was amazing. To the Halloween, the kiddos outside doing their little parades, I was so glad to see that still happening. The seniors at the Eaton Center got to see it. It just melted my heart, so thank you all.
All right, any other kudos from the board? Secretary Holmes?
My first kudos is to all of the crossing guards. Also all of the staff that are filling in as crossing guards right now. It's definitely not an easy job, especially as the months get colder, so I wanted to say kudos to you guys. And then I wanted to say kudos to the staff that open, secure, and close our buildings every day. Thank you for all you do. Our security is something that I think we take for granted way too often, so thank you for your service. Next, I wanted to say thank you to the high school counselor, Marissa Bailey Johnson, and security guard Clarence for chaperoning the students at the Henry Ford College Discover Day. Thank you for keeping our children safe and exposing them to higher education early. Next, I'd like to say thank you to Ms. Brown and Mr. Allen for the progress they've made in the area of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, and for your willingness to listen to our concerns. And last, I'd like to say kudos to Mr. Aaron Millett for his quick response to a mental health crisis that occurred on 10/10/23. Thank you all.
All right. Any other kudos from the board? Hearing and seeing none. I can now accept a motion to adjourn our meeting at 8:25 p.m. Moved by Trustee Belkowski. Support? Supported by Secretary Winless. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
All right, trustee Winless, yes. Trustee Darrow.
Yes.
Trustee Botowski.
Yes.
Trustee Zerbini.
Yes.
Trustee Wall.
Yes.
Trustee Gator.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you to the Board of Education, Administration, and the community. Have